Ub-erX pool is 1 day old and it's already a disaster. Let's talk about it. Hi everybody, Mark here from uberhints.com. If you want to drive for Uber, it can still be a good gig if you drive wisely. And that's what these videos are about. If you want to make some money relaxing, driving your own car, the best time to make money is when you're a brand new driver because there are bonuses, incentives, and other guarantees. Find out more at uberhints.com or click the link below to sign up. Now, Ub-erX Pool, or what I like to call Super Pool, because I just think it's a more fun name, right? It sounds like a cool 70s action flick. Anyway, Super Pool has finally rolled out, and actually it has not even been going on for a day. And the stories that I've been hearing are just outrageous and pretty much what you'd expect. So I jotted some of them down here. One of the things that we're getting, of course, and we could have figured this one out, but how is Uber using coercion in order to get people to accept these rides? Well, in a lot of areas, you are offered bonuses, right? But you have to meet certain criteria, a certain number of rides, for example. Well, if the Uber Super Pool shows up, you pretty much have to take it if you want to get your bonus, if you want to get that little extra bit of cash coming your way. So one of the things they're doing is they're strong-arming us to take certain rides. Other things they do is they put you on detention, right? If you don't accept enough rides, they'll turn off your access to your app for a little bit. Now, I don't know if that's a bad thing, because if enough of us can get in lockstep and not accept these rides, they can't turn everyone off or they will not be able to serve the needs of the rest of the community, the XL rides, all of that. So I don't know if the turning off, putting us in the corner for a little bit is really going to have an effect. Uber is going to have to think long and hard before they do something like that, because it's going to have a domino effect on the rest of the business. Now here's the problem. We're kind of in a catch-22. Now I know some of you have already had this in your market, like in San Francisco, where they have been doing the test runs, where they rolled it out. You are the early adopters of this, right? So what's happening is we're really in a jam, because if we don't do what the riders ask us to do, they give us low ratings. Let me give you some examples that I've been hearing already, and if you've read the comments, you've read them and seen them and heard them as well. One story that we got is, well, a lady was shopping and she had all kinds of packages from IKEA and some other stores, and she wanted to be dropped off on the other side, a specific place, even though Super Pool is supposed to be all about you walk a little longer, you have a little bit of inconvenience, but you save money. Now, what do? Do you get in an argument? No, I'm not going to drop you off there. And you've all seen the YouTube videos. You know what can happen when you start getting in conflict and arguments with your rider.
Sir, I'm asking you.
Get out of my car now! I have the right to tell you when to get out of my car. Right now.
The other thing that's going to happen is they are going to rate you as low as they possibly can, even though they know darn well when they request that Express Pool or Super Pool ride, that they are not supposed to be dropped off at their doorstep or at their preferred location. Here's another one we got, and this was actually from our same viewer. Someone came up in crutches and they had special requests. Now that stuff is, it's going to happen. And I'm going to draw a correlation to the airlines, because the airlines did not nip this in the bud and they have tremendous problems with this. The reason I know this, for those of you who are regular viewers, I travel frequently. If you want to find out more about my travels, go over to the Average Me channel. I talk about a lot of that. I do hotel reviews and all kinds of things. But at the airlines, they have this completely mucked up, because what they will do, for example, they'll say, okay, Southwest Airlines is huge for this. Early boarding, they'll have, you can buy, I don't know, for $15, you can buy the early bird boarding, which means you're supposed to get in the very first group, right? And then after the A group goes in, and understand, with Southwest Airlines, they don't have assigned seats. So the sooner you get on, the better your seat selection is. Now here's what happens. In between the A and the B boarding, they'll have families, or sometimes even before boarding starts, people who need longer to get on, or families with small children. And this is a problem. They need to say, oh, one small child, one parent to help them on. How much help does one small child need, right? Instead, what happens, you get one child, then you get mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, all of the aunts and uncles. You get 7 adults and one child. And now by the time, a single traveler like me gets on, all the aisle seats are taken by, one huge, massive family. And, I paid for that ticket too. I just didn't take advantage when they had family boarding. And the same thing with luggage, right? You're supposed to have one carry-on that fits into a 22-inch maximum length, and one personal item. A personal item is supposed to be a computer, a purse, that type of thing. And people push that so much, they're bringing on big, full-size duffel bags that you could hide a body in. And 2 carry-ons to them, they'll have 2 carry-ons rather than a personal item. And then they'll still have a backpack or a purse slung over their shoulder. Now the problem is the airlines never stop them. They let these people go on. Then you'll hear the desk people look at each other and roll their eyes and say, wow, we're going to have troubles on this flight. There's not going to be enough overhead space. Well, whose fault is that? It's not the fault of the person bringing the stuff on. It's the fault of the airline. Now, how am I drawing a correlation to Uber? Because the same thing is going to happen. People are going to push it and push it and push it. I'm on crutches. Let me off over here. I have packages from IKEA. Let me off over there. Or another one that someone said, and I'm reading, make sure I get this right. They were going in a completely different direction. It was not even in the same direction. And my rider here, or my driver, got $8. He had to take several people. One of them was completely out of the way, and he only got $8. Now, as drivers, we have 2 options. Well, we have 3, but let's talk about 2. We assume people are in our car. The third option is just don't pick them up. Don't take it. So we have 2 options. Number 1, we can tell these people, we can say, no, I'm sorry. The rules of the game say that you get dropped off en masse. It's basically like a bus stop. Now, I'm assuming this. It's not in my area, so I don't know. I'm assuming this from the Uber rollout, the press release. Those of you who are taking the Express Pool, Super Pool, let me know. Is that what it's like? Are they saying you're going to all be dropped off at one location, or are you still having to bus stop along the way? Because if you are, that's really bad. So anyway, we can say to people, no, I'm sorry. This is what the agreement called for. And then we get the rants, the raves, the fights, the uncomfortable situations, and the low ratings.
Can you get her out of my car, please?
Our other option is just to keep the peace. We say, okay, I'll do it. I'm a nice guy. You're on crutches. I'm a nice guy. You've got a trunk full of packages. Now what happens? We're like the airlines, and we perpetuate the problem. Where did this problem start? It started with Uber. With Uber trying to get a stranglehold on the market, with Uber trying to push everybody out. Now, those of you in the test markets, you know a little bit more. How are you handling these situations already? I think this is just, and we saw it coming in. You saw it in my previous video. This is a recipe for disaster. I don't know how Superpool, Uber Express Pool, is anything but trouble for drivers. I know Uber is going to think it's great. They're going to push the daylights out of it. Oh, I know the last thing I was going to say. I'm sorry for backtracking. The last thing I was going to say is people are not being notified. I had 2 people comment. One said, I got this request for Express Pool. I had no idea what it was. I'd never even heard about it. And the truth is, I didn't understand it myself because I never got notified. I assumed that was just because it's not in my market. But now I'm hearing that even people who had it in their market were not notified about this. I heard about it because I stay on top of this. I read the press releases, all of that. It's the only reason I heard about it. But I'm hearing now that some of you, even when it's in your market, you're you're not getting notified. And the second thing I'm hearing is when it comes up in the ping, it comes up as a regular pool. You accept it, and then and only then does it say express pool. I mean, that is just so low down, dirty. You don't do that to a driver. This doesn't even affect me, and I think you can hear the frustration in my voice. I was just ready to say, why would Uber do something like this? But we know why Uber would do something like this. I have never been as upset with this company as I am right now. And that's saying a lot, because you know all the tomfoolery and shenanigans and hijinks that this company has pulled over the past year and a half. And I was hoping that the illustrious Mr. K, the new CEO, I call him new, he's been in the job for 6 months now, would change things. I'm not seeing a lot of change. So, I don't know, one day out, it's not looking good. What are your thoughts? Leave them down below. As always, I like it when you like the videos, give me the thumbs up, when you share, and especially when you subscribe. Now, coming tomorrow's Friday, and I'm going to be back to an Uber Hints video. We're going to be talking a little more on the app tomorrow. So those of you who are a little newer might like tomorrow's video. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Mark with Ub-erX.com.